Good morning and Happy New Year, everybody. It's Ange at Homestead Design. So here I am as promised, the first day of our Perfectly Imperfect January, a little challenge that I want to do just for the month of January. You might have seen some videos that I did on it yesterday talking about the reason why I'm kind of challenging myself to do a video every day to share some small little tips about ways to goal set or make resolutions or things like that. These are just little tiny ways that maybe if jumping into a new decade and a new year with these really lofty goals and huge intentions might not be the right fit for you, or if you know yourself well enough to know that that might not be something that's going to stick and it's just going to make you feel bad later. I know that's the boat I'm in. I thought I would share some of these smaller ideas that I have kind of gathered over the years. So that's what I'm doing, and today is the first day of it, January 1st. So here we are. Yesterday, I talked about how to do a little self-assessment. It's a good way to look at different areas of your life, identify things that are going really well, and celebrate that and recognize it, and then also to see what areas might need just a little bit of tweaking. And that can be a good place to set some little goals, some small things that'll make a big difference and that are easily achievable, because that's what we want. We want to build momentum. So you can go back and watch that if you missed it yesterday and want a little more info on that. But today what I want to talk about is the power of doing something every day for a month, because I think looking at a whole year sometimes is too much and too big. So either doing something every day for the month of January or giving something up every day for the month of January. Either one of those things can be powerful. I'll give you an example. So last year, I wanted to work on my energy level. So I decided, I jotted down, I'll show you, this is my planner from last year, 2019. On the first day, I jotted down that I wanted to work on energy, and I identified that the thing I wanted to give up for a month was pop. That was a thing that was kind of a hurdle for me, something that I was enjoying just a little more than I wanted to. So I thought, I'm going to see if I can do it and just go for a whole month with no pop, to tell myself that I can do it. I added some other goals in that area, things like getting up early every morning and going for a walk every day and drinking, a zillion gallons of water every day, and all of these little things. And then at the end of the month, this was helpful too. I looked back and I jotted down to see how I did, because I'd written down what I wanted to work on. I went back and I could see that, yes, I did give up pop for every day that month. The other things I wasn't able to do every single day. That was too many things. I made a little progress in some of the areas, so it wasn't like it was a loss, but the idea of having one thing was really powerful for me. And it's kind of more so even than the goal itself. It's about telling yourself that you can do it, showing like, hey, I can do what I set my mind to. I'm not the type of person who just sets a goal and forgets about it. That's kind of a defeating mindset, and that's sometimes what resolutions do to us. So just that feeling of, yes, I did it. I did the thing for a month, and now that energizes you to do something else. That's a really powerful thing. So the idea, one of the backgrounds of that idea comes from Jerry Seinfeld, actually, and it's called his Don't Break the Chain method. And his idea is that back when he was a young comedian, he decided that he was going to write every day for, I don't know if it was even a month, but he just wanted to write every day. He had a calendar and he wanted to be able to put a big X through it every single day. And that was his only job, was I'm going to write some jokes every single day because I want an X in those boxes. And then when the day comes that you don't feel like it, you don't want to break the chain. You want to mark that X. And so, like for me, I wanted to mark that X. I wanted to not drink any pop and keep on going and have that satisfaction. So it is a really powerful thing. I'm looking at my notes because I want to stay on track to keep this short. So there's one other example I'm going to show you, and I shared this yesterday. This comes from John Acuff, who's another awesome motivational guy you can follow. Look what he does. So this is kind of next level. I would suggest starting with the one thing in the big calendar. I'll put a link to this calendar in the comments if you want to print one. But this is what John Acuff does. He makes a little chart and he jots down all kinds of little things that he wants to do. And then he does the same thing. He X's the days that he did them. So you can do that too. I would start maybe with just a couple if you're going to do more than one. But that's really powerful too. And maybe as long as you're doing one thing, you might be able to pair that with another thing. But that's another good technique also. So knowing that technique, think about what is your goal. If you've done the exercise from yesterday about the self-assessment, maybe you've picked out a little something, but basically it's looking at what's an area that if I could change just one thing in my life, what's the thing that would make the quickest and biggest difference in my life. So look at that big item and then break that down into some small things. So what's the low-hanging fruit? What's an easy thing that you can do to work toward that? And so let's say it's okay, the thing in my life, if I look at all different categories of priority in my life, the thing that's really bothering me is something in the area of health. You know, if I just felt better, I feel like a lot of things in my life might be better. That's a common one for people. So that's a big thing though, right? Boy, if I could only change my health or fitness. Yeah, that's really big. So break that down. Okay, what's one thing you can do today that would put you toward that? So maybe it's, I'm going to move my body for 10 minutes every day. I'm going to go for a walk. Do some jumping jacks. I'm gonna walk a few laps around my house. I'm gonna go up and down my stairs a couple times. I'm gonna take an extra lap around the grocery store. Tiny little things like that. Or in that category, that might be giving up maybe a certain food or a certain beverage or something like that. If your big goal is, you know, if I could just get my house under control a little bit, I think a lot of areas of my life would feel better. You know, and the decluttering thing is another huge one for people. But then that's a really big task too. Where do you even start? So you break that down into something tiny. Those are called push goals, and we'll talk about that more in detail, but this is just a little synopsis. So decluttering, huge thing. What can you do that's tiny? You can say, okay, every day I'm going to spend just 5 or 10 minutes decluttering something. Doesn't matter what it is, just something. And then you do it and you X it off. If it's your relationship, like that's the area that needs the most work. Okay, I'm going to commit to reading something helpful to learn how to improve myself. Or I'm going to work on affection and I'm going to commit to, you know, once a day, spending a couple minutes snuggling up with my guy or whatever it is. If it's, you know, parenting, maybe it's just saying, okay, every single day I want to have a little bit, 5 or 10 minutes of one-on-one time with one of my kids. Little things like that. So make those small, make them achievable, make them something you can check off every day. If you need some help coming up with ideas or identifying what those are, we can sure chat about it in the comments. I want this to be a place where you can feel like there's somebody cheering you on, because I am. And so if you want to, we can sure do that. You can comment what kinds of things that you want to work on, and then we can maybe identify some tiny little things to go with that. And one last thing, it is January 1st if you are watching this live, but if you don't see this until later, or if you are just not in the mood for goal setting today, it doesn't matter. January 1st is just a date on the calendar, and tomorrow is a new day, so it doesn't matter when you start. The only power that comes with the new year is the power that you give it. Some people, it's a really motivating thing for them, and for other people, it might not be. So don't let that be a hurdle. Don't say, well, shoot, I missed it. Now it's January 5th, and You know, the first 5 days of the new year are gone, so I might as well forget it. It's just going to be another year, the same old thing. Don't let that get you, okay? It doesn't matter when you start. Totally doesn't matter. So I hope that that is helpful to you, and I hope that you have a wonderful new year. But stick with me every day here at 6 a.m. through January, and we are going to kick it off on the right start. Have a wonderful day, guys.